All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks so much for coming out to Celeb Whitney. Thank you here for representing Senator Paul's office. Thank you. This is a really happy occasion for us here. Right, when you look around Louisville, our city's got lots of investment going on. We've got a record $15 billion of capital investment taking place in the city since 2014. And about $1 billion of that investment is taking place in the West End for projects like Beecher Terrace, the Norton Sports, Health, Athletics, and Learning Complex, 18th and Broadway. We're also seeing an economic renaissance taking place right here in Portland as well. Headquarters like Heine Brothers, Interapt, the University of Kentucky, and the University of Louisville have facilities in Portland right now. So there's a lot of momentum taking place in our city, and obviously you can see that momentum taking place right here. So one of our jobs, certainly in my office and with the Metro Council as well, is to make sure that the momentum, economic momentum, is reaching every neighborhood, every house, and every person in our city. And I know the council agrees with that. I want to recognize Councilwoman Donna Purvis, who is here with us as well, as we're in her district. Councilwoman, if you want to join us or just wave from the crowd, whatever you'd like to do there, but thank you for being here. One of the challenges to making the Renaissance happen is resolving thousands of vacant and abandoned properties in neighborhoods throughout the city. And vacant and abandoned properties can become hubs for all kinds of trouble. Crime can take place. They can become a hazard. They can depress surrounding property values. If you're living next to one, it's a major drag on you and your quality of life. And they can affect the impression that visitors have when they come to the neighborhood, as well as affecting a sense of neighborhood pride that's so important in a big part of the culture of our city. All of that we find very unacceptable. And that's why the Land Bank Authority, the work that they do, is so important. The Land Bank Authority is a partnership between three main taxing entities: Louisville Metro Government, State Government, and JCPS. And it focuses on finding ways to return vacant properties back to productive use, like you're beautifully seeing here. To make that possible, we are working with legislators of both parties right now on a bill that will allow us to implement a successful program used in other states so we can accelerate the work we're doing on vacant and abandoned properties. So that program is called conservatorship. So conservatorship allows nonprofits and others to begin work more quickly on abandoned properties even while court proceedings are underway. This is really important because when we started this work probably 6 or 7 years ago on vacant and abandoned properties in general, it can take hundreds of days, like 400 days sometimes, 500 days to get a title clear because of some of the complexity behind some of the issues on vacant and abandoned properties. So conservatorship will help us to accelerate that process significantly. And we're hoping that this will pass because it will allow us to build on the momentum that you're seeing here in Portland and other neighborhoods in terms of repurposing vacant and abandoned properties. So we'll be able to repurpose those properties into spaces for offices, restaurants, homes, shops, etc. But one in particular that we always want to focus on is how can we expand the supply of more affordable housing in our community. So this is the kind of thing that we can put together to help our general population, vulnerable populations, but in particular we want to also help our veterans that are homeless in our community. So this is what happens when you can pull a lot of folks together, developers, city government, state government, council, find innovative ways to address complementary challenges at the same time. And helping house our veterans has been a major focus of mine in Metro governments for years. That started in 2014 when Louisville was the second city in the country to eliminate veterans' homelessness with the housing vouchers that came to us through the federal government. That was 2014. And more recent efforts like the Operation Victory and Camp Restoration that we were at last week. Look, our veterans sign up knowing that they might be paying the price for their service could be their life. The least we can do is when they come home to make sure that they've got good, stable housing like what you're seeing here today. So today we're going to cut a ribbon on this 10-plex, which is a land bank project that will provide even more housing options for our veterans. So I think we should give a big shout out and a round of applause to developer Mike McKnight for his time and investment and vision on this. He'll speak here in a second, but without an entrepreneur like him that is gritty and determined and has a vision like this, stuff like this doesn't happen. So Mike, we appreciate you. I want to also thank our staff at our Office for Community Development. They have been working so hard on vacant abandoned property issue for years now, and it's wonderful to see all the progress that we're making. So that includes our director, Laura Grabowski, and real estate coordinators Lynette Hulsman and Kevin Manring, also known as Pork Chop. So thank you, Laura, Lynette, and Pork Chop. Good job, guys. I want to thank Councilwoman Purvis for her support on this project. It's got to feel good to see this here in your district, what was and what is now. So thank you for being here. And this is another great example of how the redevelopment of a vacant and abandoned property can bring a new sense of hope and possibility, not just to the neighborhood, but to the veterans that will be occupying these houses as well. So Mike, you've done an awful lot, man, to make this happen. Before we cut the ribbon, why don't we hear a few words from you? Mike McKnight.
Well, I just want to say thanks for even having the opportunity to work with Pork Chop and Lynette. I appreciate that. As a veteran, I'm proud to be able to give back to the veterans, working with the VA and the VOA. Just thankful to be in the opportunity that I had to be in this position to do what I am doing. So, thank you.
All right, we're going to cut a ribbon. I would encourage folks, too, look at the before and after so you can see the magic that Mike and his team did on this. These homes will be full probably within a month? A couple weeks to a month. So think how amazing that is to go from what was to what is to what now will be adding to the fabric of this street and this neighborhood. So it's just amazing what happens when we all work together. Let's keep her going. And now let's cut a ribbon.